Would you be able to tell us very quickly who you are and what you're doing here today in Crépon?
Yeah. My name's Ken Cooke. I'm in the Green Hours Regiment, the 7th Battalion, and we did our basic training at Richmond in Yorkshire. And after the basic training, we were sent to different regiments, which, according to your skills, what you were doing in your training, it was a laughable situation when we did our basic training, because we went in a room and there's a few tables with some objects, such as a round hole and a square box, and all different things. You had to put them together, or tell the instructor what they were. Now, in front of me was a tool, like a stopper. What else was it? It's all about 3 or 4 pieces just laid out. I hadn't a clue what it was. It turned out it was a bicycle pump. I went to Aldershot and did some more training there, just obstacle courses and different things like that, map reading. Then we went down to an American camp just outside Southampton, and we had all our gear on, the equipment, and the sergeant said, "Right lads, down this field there's some tents, go and put your gear in there, and after you've done that, go further down the field and you'll see an officer stood behind some tables." So we went down there, and it was in about 2 trestle tables,
We came the first time.
and there was all photographs on the tables. They were all photographs of the French coast. I don't know if you remember, the government asked people who'd been on holiday in France to send any photographs they'd taken to the government, to give them,
like intelligence.
the idea what was on that coast, buildings or what have you. And then it gave us some what they call it, invasion money. It was no good at all, that, And then we came out of the American camp. We were taken down to Southampton Harbour, Portsmouth Harbour. You could walk across.
Can we take a picture? Yeah, of course you can.
Oh yeah. Go on, sorry, Ken.
You could walk across Portsmouth Harbour and Southampton Harbour without getting your feet wet. There was that many ships and boats and whatever. And we were allocated an American Liberty ship, what they call a Liberty ship.
Yeah.
Instead of being riveted, they're welded together. And I think it was either 4 or 5 Liberty ships. We were on the Rapier. The 6th Battalion was on the Lads. Some more troops were on another one called the Halberg. These are ancient weapons, there was the name of these ships. So we climbed aboard, went down below where our bunks were, down below, settled in, playing cards, having a smoke, having a chat. This was on the 4th, and we were called up on deck, and the officer explained different things. And the Dakota flew over, with the black and white stripes, and the officer explained that if you see those planes with those stripes on, they're ours. If there's no stripes on, they're theirs. That was his explanation. Anyway, we went down again and got settled in. This was the 5th. And then we've been chatting, reading books, whatever. Time to get your head down. We tried to sleep, but we couldn't, on and off. And somebody says, we're moving. And you could feel the ship moving, Sets off. And 3:30 in the morning, Reveille went into the mess. And breakfast was Scotch porridge with salt, not sugar.
Oh,
it
nice.
was pretty awful.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
That was your scoff.
And, a corned beef sandwich, a mug of tea, strong tea, you could stand your spoon up in it, and a tot of rum to give us a bit of courage.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, went down below again. Opposite sergeant said, right lads, get all the equipment together, get dressed properly, all the gear, and come over on the top deck. Then we'll come on the top deck. And we looked to the coast, you could see all the battleships firing rockets and all the rest of it going on, Yeah, you had to be there to see it.
Was that the bombardment prior to the troops
You
deploying?
can't explain it properly
Yeah.
because it was that, surreal kind of thing.
Just, yeah. I don't think it's something you can understand either.
Oh no,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to me, as an 18-year-old, it was a Boy Scouts adventure.
Yeah.
Type of thing, Never seen anything like this. No, I've never seen a ship before. Never been on a beach before. And lots of them were the same as me,
Young lads.
young lads. And anyway, I think it was 3:30, 4 o'clock. Officer said, right lads, over the side, down the scramble net. Now, the only time we'd seen a scramble net was at Aldershot when we went down one of these assault courses. They had one rigged up on the assault course.
Yeah.
So we went over them, did the assault course. Next time we saw a scramble net was on the boat. And they said, the officer said, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, over the side. And you climb down the scramble net. Now, your parent ship was like that.
Yeah.
The assault craft was like that. So you're going down the scramble net, and the sergeant said, now go careful lads, make sure you got your foothold as you go down. And our craft, I think we all got down safely, but there was one, they put his foot through the hole instead, they overbalanced, but we caught him and put him back, But there was reports of other ships going down the scramble nets, put the foot in the wrong hole, overbalanced and into the water. Now with all of the gear on, no chance. And there are some cases of some of the lads, they missed a step, overbalanced into the water. And the two crafts, that one going like that, and they kept bumping into each other, so that they got crushed.
How many injuries or deaths would happen because of that, do you reckon? Was there quite a few of them? Or?
I don't know how many there was like you, but the weird stories of a few, But we set off for the course.
Yeah.
Now, this is amusing, is this? Some lads were sat on the deck, others were half kneeling, some were standing, and there's me leaning over the side of the assault craft, watching all the fireworks. Oh, look at this lot. I can't explain it, how it was, that's what I did.
Yeah. Absolutely bemused.
Yeah. Anyway, we made our way to the beach. Now, somebody said there's a very strong current on that coast, and over the years, the sand underneath had built up, into mounds like that. And some of the landing craft hit those mounds, dropped the ramp because they thought they hit the beach. Now then,
And then they're into a big pool of water, essentially.
once again, the lads with all the gear on stepped off into about 10 foot of water.
It's mad down here.
Yeah. And there was I heard one story that they stepped off into about 10 foot of water. And the next wave moved the assault craft like that and ran over the top of the lads that was up in the water.
They were stuck in the water.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, that.
Yeah. Anyway, our driver was quite good because I got within about 3 foot of the beach, and I jumped out and I got about 6 inches of water. Now, somebody said, "What did it feel like when you landed?" I said, "Well, my only explanation is that just imagine it's been raining. You walk down the street, there's a big puddle. Accidentally, you put your foot in it. And what do you say to yourself? Oh, look at my socks, all pretty wet through." And that's the feeling I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I was upset about that. What about the lads that were carrying the rifle and the water was up to here? What did they feel like?
Yeah.
So you essentially got off and you're like, fucking have some in the puddle.
Yeah, just saying, And we had to get off the beach as quick as possible. And the sergeant and corporal were driving us on like, come on, let's get off the beach. Lots of stuff waiting to come behind us. And we got out into the countryside. It was getting dark, and so we stopped. And instead of digging trenches, we got into Jerry's trenches, which, not like us, was like that. Like a plug of earth had been took out. And that was like a 4 foot hole. So the two of us got into there, put our ground sheets down, and then we had to stand to for an hour.
Yeah.
Then the service corps came up with the lorries with the evening supper and whatever, So we settled down for that. We tried to sleep, but it was a waste of time because there was explosions going on, planes going over. We managed to get a bit of sleep, and the next morning about 6 o'clock, the valley, we had to stand to again for an hour.
Yeah.
Then the lorries came up with our food, and we sat down having our food, and somebody say, "Where's Harry? Where's Geordie?" And somebody say, "Oh, when we were coming on the beach, said they fell down and they never got up." And that's when it went up here. It's going to be a bit dangerous, like, D-Day was
One drink? Yeah?
No, I'll cut that very much.
Sure.
Yeah. D-Day was adrenaline.
Yeah,
It must have been for them and people that were carrying the rifle. I mean, they wet through, and they still went.
Yeah.
And we went out into the countryside. And
What was the first village you pushed to then? From, because I presume you landed at Gold Beach.
We landed at Gold Beach, yeah.
So what was the first village you pushed to?
It was Cruelli.
Cruelli.
6th Battalion went straight through.
Yep.
We cleared it out.
Yeah.
We came straight through here, and they cleared it out. 6th Battalion.
Oh,
Yeah.
Edge up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fire maneuver essentially.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were sort of leapfrogging each other.
Leapfrogging. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did that. And let's see. We got as far as Column Bells, I think it is called. And we found out we'd gone too far because the Navy spotters had seen some movement in the area where we were, so they lobbed a couple of shells over.
And they didn't expect to see movement there.
Didn't do any harm, like, you know. So we had to pull back. And then we advanced after that. And we, let's see, went to just outside a place called Tilly.
Oh yeah.
Tilly. That place was absolutely flattened.
Was it?
You know, with bombardments and that. We was in a little place called Hot, H-O-T-T-O-T, I think that's how they spell it. And we'd been walking for about 2 hours, and the sergeant said, right lads, we'll have a rest. So we either sat down or knelt down, you know, and we never heard anything. And all of a sudden there was this explosion. I heard some shouting and screaming. I found myself flat on the floor, on my stomach. We hadn't been mortar shelled. And I got a load in the back of my legs. And I passed out. And I opened my eyes and 2 lads picked me up and took me to the first aid station, where I passed out again. I opened my eyes again and I saw a circle of lights, which I presume was the operating theatre. Passed out again, and I woke up in the Field Hospital, 79 Field Hospital. Laid on my stomach, tubes in my arms, and this nurse sticking needles in my backside. She was coming around every half hour.
Just stabbing you up.
Tears were coming down here with needle going in, you know.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm laid on my stomach. We're in a big marquee. There's doctors and nurses running about, stretcher bearers and all that. Under the end of the marquee, there was 2 big flaps, and they had them open, so you could look out into the field. I spotted 2 Germans walking across.
Cheeky buggers.
No.
They're not supposed to be there.
I said to the nurse, I said, where's my rifle? She said, what do you want your rifle for? I said, I just 2 German. She said, oh, you're okay. She said, they're 2 German medical staff who we captured and they're helping us.
Oh wow. Wow.
So, passed out again. I woke up on a stretcher being put on the ship on the beach. Back to England. I was out. I never remembered the crossing. And then I was in hospital down south for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Then I put on a train which took me up to Scotland.
All right.
To a hospital in Scotland, Shrapnel they call it, just outside Brecon.
Yeah.
And as we were put into our wards, it was a hospital, as you know now.
Quite tall.
It was just single, like this much. and they put us in bed. And down at the end of the ward, there were some children playing. So we thought part of it was part of a children's hospital. Anyway, the following day, we were chatting to the children, and the doctor comes round on his rounds, and he says to me, "Right, you're going back in the theatre." So,
As in theatre of war, not theatre for operation. For your back.
Theatre for the operation.
Yeah.
Back to the theatre, stuck a needle in my arm, passed out. I woke up in bed with a plaster cast from there to there, and the plaster cast along my arm because I bit it in the shoulder. A little prop underneath there to hold that arm in position.
Yeah.
I had that on for about just over a week. Then they cut it off. Then I started doing exercises to get well again. You know, squeezing tennis balls and all those.
Yeah, rehabilitation.
And?
Rehabilitation.
Yeah. And I was transferred to a big house about 3 miles from the hospital, which was another rehabilitation place. Did some more exercises, whatever. Then I had a fortnight's leave, came home, and I was treated in York Hospital.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
While I was on leave, went back, finished me exercising that, and they say, "Well, you're all right now." Got a letter to go to Leeds, and Leeds, whoever it was, sent me down south to an aerodrome down south. They put me on the plane over to Brussels to a little place called Goch, where I joined up with the Highland Light Infantry. Now I said, "Why can't I go back to my own regiment?" Well, they said, "Your own regiment got hammered at Nijmegen, and they had a bad do there. They lost a lot of men, so the rest of them were split up and went to other regiments that were shorter men, and that's why I was the south with the Scottish regiment."
Yeah.
And with them, we went to Northern Winter. We joined up with the Canadians on the Rhine, and we settled in there for about 3 or 4 days. And then one morning we're just talking, you know, and this barrage started. Yeah, I think it was 5.5, I think, firing over the river. A hell of a bloody noise was that. And then after the barrage, we got into these canoe-type boats, you know, went across the Rhine, and we advanced from there, and we went through Ertigan Forest.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, he's not bothering you, is he?
No.
A Siegfried line through there. One or two little battles on the way. We ended up just outside Bremen. Now, they had some positions.
Is that yours, Dad?
That's mine, yeah.
Look, I don't want to go to waste.
That was a look, that, wasn't it?
Anyway, where was I?
Bremen. Sorry, Dad. Bremen.
Yeah. And we're in our positions.
Cheers, have a great trip back.
I will, thank you very much. And they were stood talking, about half a dozen of us, and somebody shouted, "There's a couple of Germans coming down this road." So we waited for them to come round the corner. Put your hands up. Right. One put his hands up, other one took off down the field.
Just off, zigzagging.
There's 5 of us shooting at him and never blew it.
So just for context, Ken, can you remember roughly what date this was? Like
Date.
When he was in Bremen.
yeah, like roughly.
It was discharged.
February, March.
Yeah.
April, May.
Yeah, February,
Yeah.
February, March. Yeah,
Yeah.
around what time. Anyway, the other fella was an American German. He'd been on his holidays in Germany to see his relatives. And unfortunately, they said to him, come on, you're in the army.
And they'd conscripted him in.
Then the following day, we were attacked with Panzerfaust machine guns. And so that cheeky monkey who ran away must have told his mates we were up at this end. And they attacked us the following day. Well, the chap I was with, he said, I think I've been shot, hit, in my leg. And I says, right. I says, and I helped him back to the first aid station. And there was some of our troops were there, waiting to come up to our positions. And the officer there, he said, what's been going on up there where you I told him, like, you know. Next thing I know, I'm on a Brendan carrier with a ticket on my chest, psychoneurosis, otherwise PTSD, shell shock, bomb happy. And went back to Brussels hospital. Then they put me on a plane back to England, hospital down south for about a fortnight. And the doctor came around making his round. He said, right, I'm going to examine you chaps, ready for the mob. So I went in his office, stripped off. He says, where do you get these wounds? I said, last July in Normandy.
Yeah.
He said, you should never have gone back. I said, no, he told me, you know.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Anyway, he said, do you fancy riding a motorcycle? So I said, why? He said, well, it's your turn dispatch riders. I said, you must be joking. He said, I am joking, he said. There you are, get away home. So that was it.
And that was home back to
England.
Yeah, back to
York.
Back to York, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mindful we took quite a bit of your time there, Ken. We appreciate that very much, to be fair.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a couple more questions? What year were you? Did you join the army? Were you conscripted, or did you join?
I don't volunteer. My dad said don't volunteer for anything.
You were brought in on the draft.
Yeah, you know, a letter.
There you go. You joined in.
Report to Richmond, and that was it.
Where are you from, Ken?
From Nottinghamshire, really.
So Greenhouse wasn't even your area, was it?
No.
Good grief.
You were in York at the time.
I was in York at the time. My dad was a miner.
Yeah.
It's a long story.
Yeah.
He was a miner. And he was called up for some reason. He wanted to know why.
Yeah.
He said, well, with the experience, he was in the St. John's Ambulance.
Yeah.
He said, well, your experience in St. John's, he says, we're short of medical stuff. So they put him in the Army Medical Corps. And he was stationed in York.
Yeah.
He liked it that much, he brought the family up to York, and that's why.
You've been at York ever since?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's just a mad question. So your dad, did he serve in the First World War?
That's another story.
Yeah, he was too young.
I don't know for sure whether he did or not.
Yeah.
We don't think he was. Because he was 18 when the First World War finished. Yet we have photos of him in the 9th Lancers.
So you could have told fibs about his age, couldn't
he?
With
a photo of him on a horse with a lance.
Yeah, it was.
So whether he lied about his age to try and get in the army at that time, we don't know. But his dad had a bad accident down the mines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bought him out of the army because the granddad couldn't work, and they bought him out of the army to look after the family kind of thing, you know. That's how it happened.
Got one final question. Did you? What battalion were you in? I can't remember which battalion CSM Stanley Hollis was in. Was he 7 or 8, 6th?
He was in the 6th.
Were you 6th?
I was 7.
7th. Okay. Did you ever come across him?
No.
We've just been doing a bit of a tour today of the various spots where he was said to have earned the Victoria Cross, and it's quite impressive. I just didn't know whether or not you came across him.
Well, I got friendly with his pal,
Yeah.
Charlie Hall,
Okay. Yeah.
who was in the 6th.
Oh
He
yeah.
was a friend of Stan Harris.
Yeah.
And as we've been over for different, anniversaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
We bumped into Charlie one of those anniversaries when we became friends, kind of thing. He told me one or two things about Stan Harris.
Yeah.
He said he was a nutcase. We stood with Stan Harris one day. This hand grenade come over, hit Charlie in the chest, went on the floor. It didn't explode. Now, if that had exploded, Stan Harris wouldn't have got his feet.
No, he definitely wouldn't have. No.
It's mad, isn't it? What work did you go on to do after?
I now worked at Roundtrees.
You what, sorry? Back to Roundtrees.
Roundtrees.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
'Cause that's it's all houses now, isn't it?
Sort of.
We can't stop. We've got to go back on the
But we love
coach
it.
in a minute, Dan.
Have we?
Yes.
Oh, I just
Ken.
enjoying it.
I
Sometimes.
know.
Ken, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
It's an honour, sir.
And you look after yourself.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.